This is John, and here I want to share with you an analogy for a dynamic that occurs in human experience and a possible perspective to have on that dynamic. So, when we are having a bad emotion, or when we are doing a behavior that we don't like, a bad behavior, and we want to change this emotion or change this behavior, what we oftentimes set out to do is solution X, and what I'm going to offer here is solution Y. Both of them are, I guess, valid in some sense, but the situations in which each one becomes useful differs, and sometimes one of the methods is applicable and sometimes the other one is more useful. So the analogy is like this. I create my emotions, I create my behaviors. First, we'll have to assume that that is the case, or that is the paradigm that I'm working out of. We create our own emotions, we create our own actions. So let's say I'm having this bad feeling, a bad feeling about myself, a self-esteem feeling. Oh, I'm stupid. And let's say this is the thought, I'm stupid. This is an analogy. So this is me thinking I'm stupid. Here, it's like this. This is me having the I'm stupid thought. Man, I'm fucking stupid. Okay? And then you have the realization, why am I thinking this? I need to stop thinking this thought. This is just causing me trouble. And so your solution to this thought, I'm stupid, is to do this. You stop the thought. The thought's trying to go. You say no, thought. You stay here. Okay? You tie it down. You restrict it. And that is one way of operating. That is the default. That is the most common way that we manage ourselves. We manage our internal states, our emotions. We have one part doing one thing, and another part of us comes and obfuscates that activity, or slows the activity, or somehow reduces our experience of it. Okay? So this is me versus me. That's the dynamic. Okay, here's the alternative. That was X, here's Y. And the reason I'm offering Y is because in my experience, Y is how actual change occurs. It's how you actually gain mastery over any internal dynamic. And so it goes like this. Here's the thought again. I'm stupid, man, I'm stupid. Okay, I realize, fuck, why am I doing this? I don't want to do this anymore. What do I do? Okay. Maybe I could use this hand, or I could do something else. What am I going to do? Whoa. Do you see that? I'm so stupid. I'm so In the same way that I stop moving my arm, you stop thinking you're stupid. Just stop it. In the same way that you move your arm, you think those thoughts. The only difference is the degree of awareness or consciousness that you have in that part of you, of your experience. So just like you stop the arm, stop everything else that's stupid. And don't do it by using another part of you to slow the activity or fight against the activity. Instead, just go to the source of the activity and stop it. Because you're already the one creating it, so you are the one to end it. And you don't end it by more manipulation, you end it just by ending it. So this requires that you take responsibility, or you take creatorship for your perceptions, your emotions, your behaviors. And then it requires that you intend and actually try to do that. It's good. It's a very useful perspective. It has been for me. And what I want you guys to get out of this story or this explanation is that there is another way. There are different ways of changing your behavior for the better. There's different ways of stopping things that you don't like. Like every person that I have ever met is up to something or does something consistently that they would rather not do consistently. At least the ones that are trying to grow have some sort of thing like that. And what I'm trying to offer is a way to go about that process that is most effective, that facilitates the greatest amount of change with the least amount of effort, that allows you to become mature instead of manipulative, that allows you to gain mastery over yourself instead of engage a fruitless battle of this versus that part of me. It builds integrity. You go to the source of the activity and stop it there. It's you doing that. Instead of allowing it to manifest over and over again and then constantly addressing the symptoms, you're just going to where it is occurring, and you are being the one that's creating it, and then you are being the one that's stopping it. So it's incredibly simple, but incredibly radical. And the work occurs, or the benefit of this occurs for you only if you actually do it. So you consciously make the shift like this. Stop it. I know, that's not how it goes. How to describe that? Yeah, it's a way of being. It's a way of feeling. Way of thinking. It's a way of thinking about things. It's a possibility. Like, it's much easier for me to stop moving this arm if I stop moving this arm. It's so much harder that if this arm is continuing to move, it's so much harder to try and stop it with the other hand. I can do it, but the amount of effort that's involved is incredible. There's just so much more. This whole thing is still going, and then there's a whole nother activity on top of it to try and stop it. When the case is that I'm actually doing both, and all I had to do from the very beginning was just put the arm down. In much the same way, all you have to do is put the XYZ down. Put the thoughts down. Stop moving the thoughts. Instead of creating other thoughts that are supposed to placate or neutralize those initial thoughts, just stop producing the initial thoughts. Easier said than done. There is a reason why we do the me versus me action. It's because it's easier to. It gives you something to do. It gives you something to grasp on to and to feel productive with. If you just go for the stop it method, what you'll come across is outright failure. Often, not necessarily, but that's what you'll come across. If you're stopping it, at least it'll kind of seem like you're succeeding. But what's actually happening is, as you try and stop this arm is saying, what's going on? I'm supposed to be moving like this, so it'll fight against the other one. And you end up not being able to stop moving the arm. It actually kind of irritates the movement, and the arm says, fuck you, I'm going to move even harder. Just get into that arm, put your awareness in that arm, and be like, oh, okay, I'm the one moving it. Just put that down. Okay, I'm not stupid, or whatever your thing is. And the big difference between the method that I'm proposing, which is to outright stop the behavior, and the method that is most commonly adopted by people who are trying to change themselves for the better, is that the method I'm offering has you take responsibility for everything that you're doing. And by take responsibility, I mean you admit to yourself, or you realize that you are involved in the creation of that experience. So in order to stop moving this arm, you have to know that you're the one moving the arm, right? If you think that this is something that's just occurring, then you have no chance of moving it. But if you realize that you're the one doing it, then it's so simple to stop. But you have to know that you're doing it. And in the mainstream or the conventional method of change, which is to go against yourself in some way, You don't have to become conscious that you're doing this. Actually, if you were conscious that you were doing this, then doing this would be ridiculous, right? So the mainstream way occurs because you don't know that you're responsible for this activity, right? You think it's something from the outside, and just like anything else from the outside, you have to impose some manipulation to change it. But this case is different, and it applies to every emotion that you have, every behavior that you engage, every mindset, worldview, perspective, all of it. If you want to change it, the best way to change it is to just change it. You don't come with something else and then try and do something to it from outside. You just go into there and do something like that, okay? Way better, but you have to be conscious. And that requires some work.